Hello guys, Netmatta here, and today I'll be doing a video tutorial on how to configure 3 routers on a network so that each devices on those network can communicate to each other. And this is the diagram that I'm going to implement. As you can see, we have this network here, this one, and this one, all on different network addresses. So we want to configure it such that this computer here can communicate with this computer here, this one can communicate with this computer here. Like basically all the computers on this network should communicate together. So let's just pop in our Packettracer, and we have the work area here. So we'll just add our routers. As you can see, we have 3 routers, so just drag your routers on the work area. So we'll just choose the PT router. We'll place one here, another one here, another one here. Then we need switches to connect to those routers, so let's just choose switches. And guys, you can just hit on the control button, then select the item that you want to place so that you don't have to coming back and choosing it. So I'll just hit the control, then I'm just gonna place them all where I want. This makes the work so easier. Now let's see what we have on the diagram again. Now let's add our end devices, the PC, the computers. So select on the end devices, PC. I'm gonna place one here, another one here, and another one, and another one here. So let me just arrange these devices. I like my work neatly done. Let me just push this router a bit. Yeah, there and there. There. Yeah guys, now let's connect these devices together using the wire. So just select on this connection wire here. Then we don't want to take so much time because I want to be fast, so just select the first wire, which will automatically know which wire to use between your connections. So just control, then click on the wire, connect to the switch, connect to the switch, switch to router, router to router, that's a serial cable, router to router, that's serial, that one, that way, to switch to router, router to switch, and switch to PC. Yeah, we already have our connections. Now guys, so what we should now basically do is add our addresses and then configure everything. We now have our devices here laid out well, connected together, but we can just try sending a PDU from one device to another, and it will automatically say there are no functional ports. As you can see, router 0 has no functional port. This is because you haven't assigned any address to that router. Then another thing guys I like doing is labeling my connection, because I want to know on which port is this wire connected. So I'll just use the note FA 1/0. So guys, to save time, I had already done this, so let me just open that Packettracer which had labeled everything. So just open. I actually don't need to save any of this. No. Yeah, let's open this one. Yeah, as you can see guys, I've done some magic. I've already labeled my devices. You can see here we are going to connect this wire to port Fast Ethernet 00. This one is Fast Ethernet 10. We have our network addresses here. As you can see, I've not configured anything. I've just labeled them, just like as you can see in the diagram. I just used this note here. As you can see, there's this icon on the top. For your Packettracer, maybe it's at the far right, so mine it's here at the top. I just click on it. Then if I want to label this computer, I'll just come and say maybe Netmatta computer. And I'm sorry, that's how we don't like that Netmatta like that. We write it this way. Yeah, that's Netmatta. You can just search for this story on YouTube and it'll be good to go. So let me just delete that one. And now let's jump into configurations. Guys, I hope you can see. Just pause this diagram, just implement yours as this, draw everything, label the wires. I have added also the network addresses that will guide us on how to add the IP addresses. So just pause this video and just implement your diagram as this one you see on the screen. So now let's go to assigning the IP addresses. Here I will be a little slow so that I'm accurate, and so you can also get how to do it, how to go on with the configurations. So let's start with this network here, this one up to this router, from this PC6 to this router, headquarter router here. So we have this network address 192.168.2.0. From this network address, one thing you need to know, we are not using our network address to assign to any machine. We are not going to assign any machine this on network address here. This is just a guide to show from which you are going now to get the IP addresses to configure to the PC and an IP address to configure to the router. So like from this network addresses, let's first get our gateway address, which is the IP address of the router. So it will be 192.168.2.1. That will be our gateway address. So just click on this router here, go to config and go to fast Ethernet 0, because it's this port which you are looking at. Then assign your network address, IP address for the router, which will become the gateway to this computer. So it will be 192.2.168.2.1. Then make sure you put that port on and you can close it. Now let's go to this PC. On this PC first, we need to assign the gateway. The gateway is the IP address which you just assigned to the router. So it's 192.168.2.1. You do nothing on the DNS server. Then let's go to the code desktop configurations. Now let me just copy that to be fast. Now our IP address of the router is going to be 192.168.2.2 because we already assigned .1 to the gateway. So just paste it. The subnet mask assigns itself, then good to go. And so guys, for a test, let's just try sending a PDU from this computer here to the router, and it will be successful. So let's send there. Yes, you can see guys, it's successful. So we are done with implementing this part of the network. Now let's go to this other part of the network, which is on the right side of this router, as you can see on the screen. So we have the network addresses 192.168.1.0. So from this network address, we're going to get our gateway address and the IP address of the PC7 here. So our gateway address will be 192.168.1.1. So as you can see, it's connected, this wire is connected to fast Ethernet 1.0. That's why guys, I told you should label your devices. So let's go to fast Ethernet 1.0. So you're going to assign 192.168.1.1 and ensure that you power on that port. On the subnet mask will just assign itself, then power on that port, and you're good to go. Now let's go to this PC here and assign and configure it. So we'll start with the gateway address. The gateway address, remember, is the IP address of the router. So it will be 1.1. Let me just copy that so that you can be fast. Then go to the IP configuration, IP address. It will be .2. It can be .1 because you already assigned .1 as the gateway address. Subnet mask assigns itself. Then just close it. Let's wait for this port to power on here. As you can see, it's not yet on. It's still orange in color. Yeah, it's on. Now let's just try sending a PDU from the router to the desktop. In progress. No. just try again. Maybe it was still powering up. Successful. Yeah, and you can see the guys there. Let's just power again let's just try again, and you can see successful. So we already done implementing this network here and this network here. Now let's go to this network address 192.168.3.0. From this network address, we need to get our gateway address, which is the IP address of the router, the IP address of this PC3 here, and the IP address of this PC4 here. So let's just start with the router. By default, guys, just assign your router the .1 gateway address. So you can see it's connected to FA0/0. That's first Ethernet 0/0. So just go to that. You can see here interface first Ethernet 0/0. It will be 192.168.3.1. Yeah, let me just copy it because I left it somewhere. Power on that port, guys, then go. Now let's go to this PC3. The gateway address is the IP address of the router. Just paste it. Let's go to desktop configuration. The IP address, it will be .2. Subnet mask assigns itself. Good. Now let's just try sending a message from here to here through the switch. You don't need to configure the switch because you're not going to go through the router. It will just pop from this computer to the switch. Then the switch will send that message to this computer. So let's just try sending a PDU. Hit P on the keyboard, and PC4 has no functional ports. Oh my, we didn't assign an IP address to this one. So let's just go here, configuration. The gateway is 192.168.3.1 IP configuration. This one will be .3 because we are saying .1 to the router, .2 to the PC3. Now this PC4 will be .3. Subnet mask assigns itself. So let's now try sending the PDU again. Hit P on the keyboard. As you can see, it's successful. Let's just try sending the reverse way from this to this. It's successful. So we have already now implemented this part of the network. Just remember, we have not yet configured these routers, so the routers aren't communicating. Let's go to this part of the network. The network address is 192.168.4.0. From this network address, we need to get our gateway address and the IP address of this computer here. So we start with the router by default. So let's just configure the router. The router we're going to assign it's connected to fast Ethernet 00. Guys, be keen on these ports because you might mess up somewhere. So we're just going to assign it 192.168.4.1. That's the IP address of the router, which will be the gateway to this computer here. Just power it on and you're good to go. Now let's go to the PC. For the PC, we are just go the gateway is the IP address of the router 168.4.1. Just copy it. Don't assign the invalid gateway address entered 192.168.4.1. Yeah, it's okay. Let's just copy it. Go to the desktop configuration IP. Yeah, paste it here. It can be .1, .2. Yeah, and we are done. Yeah, so let's just test that one. Let's see if the router can communicate with our PC. In progress, fail. Let's just try again. Maybe it was still powering up. Successful. Yeah, as you can see, PC to router successful. Guys, at times it might say failed for the first time, maybe because it was still powering up, or it was still saving those details that you just fed in. So we are done now configuring this part, this part, this part here, and this part here. We are done. Now let's just try, just for the sake, let's just see whether this PC here can communicate with this PC. By default it should fail. If it accepts, then it will be a dilemma. Yeah, it has failed. This because this router here can't communicate with this router, and this router can communicate with this router. So we need now to do the configurations on this router. The network address on this side is 172.16.1.0. So let's start with this router here. As you can see, it's connected, this serial cable is connected to port 02/0. Let's go to the router 02/0. We are going now to get an IP address from this network address. So it will be, because you're starting with this router, it will be .1.16.1.1. So it will be 172.16.1.1. The subnet mask assigns itself. Power on that port. Close it. Let's go here. As you can see, still red because I've not it can't see this router because this router is not assigned any serial address. So let's go to the serial 2/0 and assign it 172.16.1.2. Subnet mask assigns itself. Good. As you can see now, these wires are green because now the routers can see each other in that network. These two routers, let's just try sending a PDU. Successful. The vice versa is also true. Successful. Let's just delete those PDU. Now let's go to this part of the router and connect here and connect and configure this connection here. As you can see, this router is connected to this router through serial 3/0. So just click on the router. Let's go to serial 3/0. Now let's get an address from this network address here. Because you're starting with that one, it will be 172.16.2.1. Subnet masks 172.16.2.1 overlaps with serial 2/0. Let's just try again. 172.16.2.1. I guess, okay, if it just says like this, let's just play with the subnet masks. We'll go back to this router here. Let's start with this one. Let's just add the subnet mask to 55. Yeah. Now let's go to this router again. Now let's just play around with those subnet masks. It will be 172.16.2.1. Yeah, it's all. Just play around with those subnet masks and it will work. Now let's go to this. This is connected to serial port 2/0. It will be 172.16.2.2 because you already assigned a .1 to this part here. So the subnet mask assigns itself, power on that port and close it. As you can see now, these two routers are communicating. Let's just try sending a PDU to this. Successful. Sending a PDU from here to here. Successful. Guys, I know you have seen something that I've done with the subnet mask. Please, I'm trying to assume that you already know about subnetting before we come to Cisco Packettracer and you understand. But if you didn't understand that, guys, I'm going to do a next tutorial on how to carry out subnetting and why did we assign this 172.16.1 and a subnet mask of 255.255.0.0, yet to this same address here we assigned a subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. I'll do a video after this concerning subnetting so that you can understand better. Now guys, we have already configured this network here. As you can see, all the cables are green. But now let's just try again, sending a PDU from this computer to this computer. It's failed. Why is that reason? It's because this router here, this router here doesn't understand this network, and this router here doesn't understand this network. So we need to make these routers know the networks they are connected to. And so guys, that's the technical part. I'll try and be slow. I know I'm fast. I really need to be somewhere, so I'm just trying to save time and teach you guys this part, because also due to public demand, somebody requested for this. So now let's go direct to the configuration. Now I'll need to open something here. Let's just go to open the recent. Don't worry, on my office I'm on Ubuntu 18.04 LTS. I need this document here. Now guys, let's assume we wanted to configure. Let me open. Guys, now let's assume I wanted to configure the headquarter router here. This headquarter router will need to understand this add network address here, this 192.168.3.0, which is this address here. It will also need to understand, to know that it's also connected to this 172.16.1.0, which is this network here. And it will also need to know of this network here. It doesn't need to know these networks because these computers use the gateway, which is the IP address of this router, so it already communicates with these two, this side and this side. So what we are going to do, let's start by, let me try something fast. Sending this PC here to, that should be successful because they are already connected through one router. So we are going to start, we want this router to communicate with this part of the network such that whenever I send a message from here to here, it should be successful. So we are now going to start with the headquarter router. Go to the static, this routing, then we're going to click on the static routes. Now we want this computer to first start by understanding this network address here. Guys, be keen please. So we are going first to add this network address. It's 192.168.3.0. Then the masks, we're just going to use the mask that we use here. We use 255.255.255.0. Now the next hop is the port connected to this router here. I'm sorry guys, we didn't write it, but it should be, I didn't label it, but it should be 172.16.1.1. yeah, let me just confirm that so that we don't do the wrong thing. This is first Ethernet. No, it's serial 2 stroke 0. Serial 2 stroke 0 is, yeah, as you can see guys, it's 172.16.1.1. Let me just copy it there and let me just add a note to guide us. That way I'll just also do the same for this one. Let's see that's port 02 stroke 0, 02 stroke 0, copy, and let me just add it somewhere here. Yeah, So let's go back to this headquarter router here. Let's go back to static. We started by adding this network address with subnet mask and then using this port. Actually guys, this port never changes. I mean this port here where this serial cable is connected to the other router. Now let's add another network address. We want this PC to understand that it's using this connection here. It's connected through this network address to this router. So we are going to add 172.16.1.0. Subnet mask for this one is 255.255.0.0. The next hop is just still this address here, so it's 172.16.1.1. Add it. Now we need to understand this network here. We need to tell this router here that this network does exist. So we are just going to erase that one. We're gonna add 192.168.4.0. The subnet mask here should be 255, and then you're going to add it. Yeah, let's add that one. Now we also need to add this route here. Guys, this port never changes, so just leave it. So this route here, we need to add it. It's 172.16.2.0. Then just the network address there is, yeah, it's like that. Just add it and close. We are done. We are done. As you can see, we have 1, 2, 3, and yeah, they should be 4. They should be 4. There's something we didn't. Yeah, they're okay. They're okay. Just close it. Then let's just try again. It should fail too this time. Okay, the reason it fails is because this router now doesn't understand this network here. So we need to also come to this router and make it understand the presence of the other routers. So I'm going to network this router 0. We'll start by let it understand of this, that this network over here does exist. So it will be 192.168.2.0. The subnet mask is 255.255.255.0. The next hop, we are on this router. So the next hop is this network here, this address here, because it's where this port connects to this port. So let me just go to my configuration and 172.16.1.2 should be .2. Add it. So let's just try something, guys. This router now understands the presence of this network. So if I send a PDF from this computer, it should go. Let's just send a PDF from that computer to that computer. It's successful. It's because now we added this router, we made it aware of this network here, and this router we made it aware of this network here. Now let's go to this part of the network. This router should understand that this network also does exist. So we just go to it, then static. Now we need to, let's just make it first understand that it's connected to this address here. So we'll just put 172.16.1.0. the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. the next hop is this port where it's connected to the other router, 172.16.1.2. then add it. Then let's go. We want to make it, you can see it didn't show up, because it already understands that route. So let's go now add this network address here. This will be 192.168.1.0. the subnet mask will just change here with this byte and add it. Now we need to make it aware of this network here. This network is 192.4.0. add it. Now we need to make it aware that it will use this route which it will connect to, the serial address that connects these two routers. That's 172.16.2.0. so just click on the add button. Yeah, and so guys, what I expect is that this router can now communicate from here to here, because also this PC understands this route. So let's just try by sending a PDU from this computer. This computer, it's successful because this router here now understands that there is this route over here, and this router here already understands that there is this route to here. So when I send a PDU, it will come from, it goes from this computer to the switch, from the switch to the router, from this router to this router. Now this router will look for which IP address is this PDU sent to. Then I'll just select that one. It's successful. So let's delete these ones. Now let's go to this router over here. Click on it, go to configuration. Now first we need to make that router understand that there exists network address. Go to static, click on network, 192.168.2.0. Add the network mask 255.255.255.0. The next hop is this port which connects this router, and I didn't label it. I'll need to check on it. That was port HQ port 03. It was 172. Let me just copy it, then just gonna paste it there. Yeah, and we are good to go. Let's return to our configurations tab. So we make it understand that the next port it's connected to this router is 172.16.1.2.1, and then add that one. Now we need to make it aware that it's using this route here. So let's just add 172.16.2.0. You can just leave that network mask as it is, or you can change it to this to 0. So we'll just add that one. Then we need to make it aware that there is this route over here. So let's just change this network address 192.168.3.0. Add it. Now we need to also make it aware that it's using this address here to communicate, to get communication of this router to this router. So I just gonna 172.16.1.0. let's just put this one to .0, then add it. Guys, these configurations are so many, I don't know which I've not done. So we just test it. Let's just see whether this computer can communicate with this computer. In progress failed. Let's just try again. In progress failed. I think there's just something I need to do to this computer. Let me just check whether this computer understands that there's the existence of the other computer. We have network 4.0. Yeah, here it is, via 162.1.2. Yeah, I guess let's go back to this router here. It should be aware of that presence. Let's go to static 192.168.3.0 via 192.2.1. I guess that's why we have an dot 192.2.2 192.2.1. .2.1 is this computer. Oh, I get what's the problem. We have not made this router aware that there's the presence of this network here. This headquarter router is not aware that there's this network address over here. Let's just know why this router connected to serial 2/0. Copy and then not paste. Yeah, let me just, yeah, let's put it there. Now we need to make this router here, the headquarter router, know that the presence of this other network. So just go static, we add that network address 192.168.4.0. the network mask is 255.255.255.0. then we have the next hop. The next hop is 172.16.2.2. yeah, it's connected to that, so just add it. We also need to make it aware that it's using this network 172.16.2.0. then add that one too. So close it. Now let's just try again sending a PDU from this computer to this computer. It's successful. Now let's just try sending a PDU from this computer to this computer. Successful. This computer to this computer. Successful. This computer to this computer. Successful. Like now guys, these all computers are now communicating. They can communicate. Let's just try something called pinging. We can just try and ping. Go to this. We just know. Let's just try ping this. Let's go choose command prompt. Assuming we are on a Windows PC, let's ping from this computer here to this one. So let's just say ping. I know the address of this one is 192.168.1.2. As you can see, we are getting reply from this computer here. We are just ping from this computer to this one. So I know they will all work. So guys, let's just use the PC, which is the PD, which is more visible. Successful. From this to this one. Successful. From this PC to this one. It's failed. Let's just try again. This to this one. Progress failed. Probably I didn't make this route understand the presence of this network address. Guys, I'm so sorry for these mistakes. Static, we need to make it understand. There's 192.168.1.0. the network mask is 255.255.255.0. then next hop, the next hop is this address here, 172.16.2.1. add it, and now let's just try sending it again. This computer, it's successful. As you can see guys, now all the computers are communicating. Successful. This one successful. This one to this one successful. This router maybe to this router successful. So guys, we have now implemented our diagram here.